Welcome back everyone to the channel Ascend Above. My name is Austin, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the astrology from July 8th until the 14th. This will be the first full week entering into this new moon in Cancer. There's definitely a lot going on. I definitely feel like the energy this week is helping us get back on track. Definitely some opportunities and energies that are flowing in that's allowing us to be able to merge with our higher timelines, and I'm going to go through and discuss it here in a moment. So we'll be taking a look at the charts if you're newer to the channel, or if you're just coming in. We're going to be looking at the charts here. I'm going to be going through all the charts, but I definitely do feel like this is a week where we're getting back on track. There's opportunities for growth, for healing. This new moon that we're having, I'm recording this video on July 4th. So it's not the new moon yet as I'm doing the video, but the new moon that we're having in Cancer, this one is going to be with Venus, but Venus is going to be squaring Chiron, and so there is this element here of tension when it comes to healing, right? Venus being in Cancer deals with comfort, deals with our inner world, our inner foundation, how well rooted we feel within inside ourselves, placing the value on stability, on firmness, having a firm basis in which to operate on our emotional worlds, on our personal lives. And that square to Chiron in Aries. Aries is the sign that deals with self-determination, deals with your sense of self, but Chiron being there, the wounded healer, it's kind of, we're kind of having to face these deeper emotional wounds when it comes to our relationships, when it comes to the way we relate to things, and when it comes to our values. So, and I wish I would have did a new moon in Cancer video, but I'm kind of behind. So, but nonetheless, I am touching on it right now, but we're going to go ahead and jump into the charts here, and we're going to get started. So let's see here. So I have this first chart up here, and like I said, this the sun's in Cancer, and it's been in Cancer. We've had a lot of Cancer energy, right? We just had Mercury leave Cancer and come to Leo, which I'm kind of happy about, because now we have some fire in the astrology. We were missing fire. So if you've been kind of feeling a lack of energy lately, and you've noticed that kind of shift and change, that's because I believe it's because Mercury has come into Leo. We still have Venus here, but this week Venus is going to come into Leo, but we still have the sun in Cancer at 16 degrees, or whenever, July 8th will be, I believe it'll be at 19 degrees. So we still have a little bit of time left here in Cancer. And Cancer, like I said, is all about, you can say it's about emotions, you can say it's about family, your home life, your personal life. But when we take a deeper look at it on an intrinsic level, it really deals with, when it comes to the self, how well rooted you feel with your environment and where you're at, right? And so this Cancer season probably has brought up a sense of awareness of those things. How well rooted do you feel? Do you feel uprooted? Do you feel like you need to firm a more solid base on which you can operate, right? Sinking the roots down into where you're at and what it is that you're doing, or what are the, in the areas of your life to which this could be playing out basically in your chart. Because Cancer is all about like the roots. It's like the roots down below of the tree, right? That gives it a sense of stability, and it gives it a sense of nurturing, and it gives us a sense of, you can even say, healthiness. So let's go ahead and jump in here, and let's take a look. I have the first chart up here for July 8th. And give me 1 second. I'm going to pull up my pencil. I'm going to pull this over here. Let's see here. So yeah, even this day, and just to go over the highlights of this week, we have, on July 8th, we have Venus sextile Uranus. We also have Mercury sextile Jupiter. We have Mercury trining the nodes. On July 9th, we have also Mercury trining the nodes. July 10th, we have Sun trine Saturn. July 11th, we have Venus trine Neptune. Venus coming into Leo right after it's trine to Neptune. And we also have Jupiter sextiling the nodes exact on July 12th. And we're going to be having a Venus opposition to Pluto. And that's the one transit that I want to really put a firm emphasis on. How to not really get caught up in that Venus opposition to Pluto. It can definitely bring an intense energy around relationships, around around money, around finances, around values. So I'll touch on that when we get to that date. But there's a lot going on this week. There's a lot of energy that's changing, shifting here. So let's go ahead and begin here. I'm going to pull up. 1 sec. Here we go. Move this over here. All right. So here we go. Let me this pencil real quick. All right, so we start off here with the moon is in Leo on this day, and we'll touch about that because this moon in Leo, it will, it's going to square Mars, and that can bring a frustrating energy, Mars being in Taurus. But first, we're starting off with the bigger transits, the bigger highlights here of Venus sextile Uranus. So we have Venus here in Cancer at 26 degrees. I'm going to be making its trine here, or sorry, its sextile here to Uranus and Taurus at 26 degrees. Anytime you have Uranus in the mix, I've said this in past videos, expect the unexpected. With the sextile or trine, it's usually good, unexpected shifts of energy. The best example I can give of this is like, you're probably going to notice that something on this day is taking place that is outside of the ordinary, right? So say, for instance, you usually shop at fucking Whole Foods, and this week you just want to go shop at Sprouts or something. You know, that's the stores I have here in Texas. But it's like, it's a shift of energy. And when we look at it with Venus being in Cancer, like I said, Venus being in Cancer deals with, you know, putting the emphasis of value on, you know, your own personal comfort, right? Or your own, it could be your home life, family, relationships, right? Because it's Venus. And with the with the sextile to Uranus here, you know, expect the unexpected with opportunities when it comes to love and even finances here. Because Uranus is that planet that's about the spontaneous urge to want to transform and become greater. So it's our values here that are getting an opportunity here to transform into something greater. Our relationships transforming into something greater. Our relationship to something transforming into something greater. Even our sense of self wanting to transform things into something greater. And Uranus is about innovation, invention. It deals with breakthroughs. You can say it's disruption, but with the sextile here, it would be a positive disruption. So if you've been feeling like stagnancy in these areas when it comes to Venus stuff, relationships, money, values, the way you relate to things, expect a good shift here. Expect a good change of a vibe here for this day. And then we're also, too, at the same time going to be having, I think all in all, this day, July 8th, is a positive day. It has a lot of positive energy. We'll talk about that moon square to Mars. That's the one thing to look out for, is the frustration. But this Mercury here in Leo at 9 degrees is starting to make its trine to the North Node in Aries. So there's going to be a lot going on possibly with communication. There's going to be a lot going on with the way you're thinking, because Mercury rules the intellect. It's the way we process and store information, the way we also communicate here as well. So there's going to be like a lot of newer ideas, a lot of newer conversations you're having with yourself, other people. And these conversations are helping you see your future, helping you align here with your highest path here with this North Node being in Aries, aligning with your destiny here. So it's like destined, energies of like communication, understanding, and relating, and seeing like, okay, getting the idea about where the future is going, where you need to go. And then we're also going to be having here Mercury sextile Jupiter. So we have Jupiter here at 9 degrees of Gemini. And like I said, Mercury's here at 9 degrees of Leo. Jupiter is the planet of positivity, of expansion, of growth. With Jupiter being in Gemini, the dispositor of Gemini, the ruling planet of Gemini, is Mercury. And so again, there's a lot of energy, probably a lot of conversations going to be had this day, a lot of insights here. Possibly, I look at Jupiter and Mercury as like the dyad of participation when it comes to things in your life that you're trying to grow and evolve in. So this is a good positive energy for understanding, for learning, for growing, coming up with newer ideas, finding things that make you happy, Mercury being in Leo, expressing yourself. I would say for all my creatives out there, it's definitely a good day to get creative, uniquely creative. And you can expect good results here. So we're also going to be having here, like I said, that moon. Let's see, where's that moon at? Where's that moon at? We're going to be having this moon in Leo. It's right here by Mercury. Right here, moon in Leo. And it's going to square Mars and Taurus. And this can bring frustrating energy, impatient energy. The moon is about how you act and react emotionally to things. And with Mars is a planet of action. So I would just be careful of your temper. I wouldn't place yourself in energies of strife or energies of conflict. definitely you want to watch like your temper on this day. You want to watch interactions as well, making sure they don't get out of control, and making sure that you're yourself not getting out of control or getting frustrated, because moon transits typically last about 3-4 hours, right? To where the influence on them are much stronger when it comes to the moon, because the moon moves a degree every 2 hours. So that's the one thing I would say here, just to look out for. Really, it's just having to be patient. Mars and Taurus, Taurus is patient, and it's grounded Earth, right? It's Earth, it's grounded energy. So you want to stay grounded. That moon in Leo is all about wanting to express your emotions, wanting to go out, have fun, be spontaneous. But that square to Mars, there could be some things that come up that test your patience. And so this is really just a test of patience and making sure that you're not coming unglued. And if you notice that within others, I would just give them space or back away, right? So, or just understand that don't let things boil over. All right, let's take a look here. We're gonna go to July 9th here. Oh, and also too, on July 8th, I want to just back this up. July 8th, we're going to be having the moon make its trine to Chiron. So this day does have like a frustrating energy, right? Chiron is here in Aries at 23 degrees, right? That moon's eventually going to move to 23 degrees and it's going to make its trine there. Chiron, like I said, is the wounded healer. It's our deeper wounds where we feel inadequate, where we feel kind of weird about things, where we feel like our sense of self may be missing something, or we don't feel like we're enough, or we can't like properly have it the way we want to define it with inside of ourselves. But that moon trine to Chiron, the trine aspect is giving it's a good aspect. It's helping us to be able to become consciously aware emotionally where those wounds are and what we can do to address those wounds. So it may kind of feel like a bit wonky, but it's a positive wonky, to where you're like, okay, let me just, if I reflect here and I understand what I can do here to become more confident, right? Because Leo's all about being your own confident authority, and that moon being there. And Aries is a sign of confidence as well, but Chiron's there, right? So it's about where can we become more confident with inside of ourselves, right? To act boldly, to express freely, right? To be our own, to allow our own unique personality to come through without feeling that wound of like, oh, I'm not good enough, or I don't have what it takes, or I feel weird. It's just about it's a sense of self-acceptance. All right, now we can take a look here at July 9th. So July 9th. Definitely a lot going on this day. The highlights of this day is going to be Jupiter sextile the North Node, and we're going to be having, it's just Jupiter sextile the North Node here, and then we're going to be having this moon square Uranus. And like I said at the very beginning, when I was saying like there's opportunities that are going to be opening up here for us to really align with our higher timeline. So the North Node is all about destiny. It's all about where we're trying to go now, right? And so this Jupiter and Gemini making its sextile to the nodes. Jupiter, like I said, is the planet of positivity. It's also a planet of opportunity, growth, expansion, abundance, you can say. Aligning with the North Node, these are opportunities, fated opportunities that are allowing us to grow and evolve and to merge to merge more with our higher selves, and also to merge into our higher timelines and get back on track. Like I said, the sun will be trining Saturn this week as well. I thought the sun entering this week was going to be at 19. I was wrong. It's at 16. So let's see here. But this, I would say here with this moon square Uranus is a planet, it's a disruptor. And so you may notice here, let's see if I'm just going to take this back one sec. This moon is still going to be in Leo, right? And it's going to square Uranus. And if you want to know the time of that, it's going to be like 5:07 a.m. Central Time. So you just have to correlate the time zone. But everybody's kind of all over the world, so that's why I'm not really putting an emphasis on like the time. It's just an energy to be aware of. But that moon square Uranus, you can expect some type of disruption. And it's about going with the flow. Whatever happens, happens. Because Uranus, you're not going to be able to predict it. Uranus is a planet of unpredictability. So whatever gets shooken up, it's being shooken up for a reason. And instead of being upset, being mad, or something not going the way you expected it to go, it's just about kind of saying fuck it and just adapting to the situation. Right? Yes, you can be frustrated and all that stuff, but there's nothing you can really do, and it's going to come out of nowhere. Right? So, and this could just be your urge too, that you're like growing discontent emotionally, and so it's like you're just willing to do something. You're wanting. There's a stress and an emphasis on doing something different. Right? Uranus, doing something that will help you break through that mundaneness, that help you break through that discontentness, right? And transform things into greater, or transform things greater when it comes to your life. All right, let's go to July 10th here. All right, so we have a few transits here, and this is the day of Sun trine Saturn. So the Sun will trine Saturn this day, and Sun trine Saturn is a day to where we can really get our ducks in a row, where we can really start to understand what are the structures that I need to adapt to, or what are the structures that I need to create, or what are the structures I just need to stick to allow me to achieve what it is that I'm trying to achieve. Because Saturn is all about discipline, responsibility. It deals with limitation and restriction, but in a way to where it's, for instance, let's just say you're writing a book. Well, that takes every day you have to show up and write that book. And that's the Saturn aspect. It's like you want this book to be complete. You want to put it out there. You want it to be successful. It's like you have to show up and do the work. And that's what Saturn's all about. It's like you get rewarded, but you have to do what is necessary when it comes to the work that needs to be done. And so this is a very grounded day. This is a day for us to really ground ourselves into our activities, ground ourselves into the day. And it gives an energy of focus, right? And stability and support when it comes to achieving our goals. And so this is definitely a good day. Like if you're wanting to do a lot of work this day or get things done this day, this will be a good day here. But this moon, as it's in Virgo here, the moon dealing with our emotions throughout the day, it's going to be opposing Saturn, right? So we have the Sun trine Saturn, but then we have the moon opposing Saturn. And moon in Virgo is really wanting to clean things up, tailor things perfectly, get into the details of, okay, what needs to be practically implemented and done for me to be efficient. But that opposition here to Saturn, you may face a sensation of emotional restriction, because Saturn in Pisces is trying to help you develop a deeper sense of awareness. When we go into the spiritual aspect of Saturn being in Pisces, it's like deepening your awareness and also deepening your spirituality and your divine connection, right, to the universe, to God, to your life. It's a search for meaning. I always say this, because I'm a tarot reader too, I always point out with the Eight of Cups sometimes that it's Saturn in Pisces, because the planet that rules the Eight of Cups is Saturn in Pisces. And that card is about like your vision quest in life. And so with that card, you can see that he's walking away from those cups. He doesn't know where he's going, but he understands that he's following the intuitive higher intelligence of the universe and surrendering and going on his journey and trusting and believing that all is going to work out for his higher self, or for himself. And so that Saturn in Pisces, it's a lesson of because Saturn deals with restriction, limitation, and lessons. It's a lesson of understanding and becoming more aware, right? You can say spiritually, but it's also just becoming more aware of what you're unaware of. And that moon in Virgo likes to work with what's already in its environment and what it's already aware of. But the opposition of Saturn is like, hold on, there's more to be aware of here. And so if things don't go perfectly, because the moon in Virgo could be where we kind of pick up an attitude or an energy of wanting things to be perfect. But that Saturn in Pisces is like, hold on, there's some things here that aren't going to be perfect. And so we have to go with the flow and adjust along the way. It's kind of like, for instance, if you're flowing down a stream And then and you're like, oh, this is gonna be the best boat ride or the best kayak experience. But then you see like, oh shit, there's like rocks in the way and I gotta like steer around this, and it can be kind of frustrating. But it's like you're becoming aware here, like, of the stream. You're becoming aware of the stream. So the next time you go down the stream, you won't run into those problems. You won't run into those obstacles. It's like you'll know how to navigate them. So this is about understanding how to navigate the obstacles that pop up, and understand that we can't be too picky, or we can't be expecting perfection, because it's not going to be exactly the way you want, but it's giving you an opportunity to become aware of how you can deepen your sense of awareness and perception, which will allow you to bring out that Virgo energy even more of creating and tailoring things. But as we go through the day, we are going to be having this moon. So we come off that kind of restrictive energy of Saturn, and the moon's going to, progress, and it's going to make a sextile to the sun in Virgo. And so this is a good aspect where things kind of come back into harmony, come back into alignment, and we're feeling a sense of emotional positivity. And I would say this is too like where our conscious will and our emotions are on the same page, right? Because if you have if the moon was squaring the sun, it's like your emotions and your conscious will and your consciousness are kind of they're at odds with each other. But with the sextile, it's like, okay, there's an opportunity here to where things are aligning, and I'm feeling the harmonious energy. And so let me start to, this moon being in Virgo, with this positive energy, with this positive emotional response, let me, take care of the things I need to take care of. Let me clean up what needs to be cleaned up. Let me put things in order. Let me do things practically, right? Like, it's giving you a good energy of focusing on, what really needs to be done. Moon in Virgo, you're wanting to really tailor things. You're wanting to refine things here, get things done. I always say like Virgo energy is like a checklist. All right, I got this to do, I got that to do, and I got to do all this. And that's why with that moon opposed Saturn, it's like, oh, something comes up and you can't get to that check on your checklist. You're like, oh shit, hold on, let me deal with this obstacle. So that's come up. I didn't know that was going to come up. All right, let me just improvise, adapt, and overcome, and let me, keep going. But, the conscious and emotional energy is coming back into harmony here with this sextile. All right. And then, so that's what we're having on July 10th. We go to July 11th now. And I would say, and the highlight of this day is Venus trine Neptune here. So this is a good energy when it comes to creative energies, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to romantic energies, when it comes to deepening and developing a idealistic type of creation that you want to embody or that you want to do. And so it's a good benefic energy, right? Definitely a good day to, deepen into your spiritual practice as well, to gain a deeper sense of awareness about, okay, what are the things here emotionally that spiritually fulfill me? And you'll be feeling that deeper sense of meaning and spiritual connection with that Venus, trine to Neptune. And then very shortly after, we'll have the moon come into Leo, or not the moon, the Venus come into Leo. And so we'll talk about that here in a moment. But we will be having this moon in Virgo here, trine Mars and Taurus. So Mars is all about action, and Taurus is all about, okay, Mars being in Taurus, it takes time for it to build momentum. Because Mars is a planet of action. It's swift, it's fast, it's the maverick in the sky that's unpredictable, that switches, that changes. And it can represent speed too. But Taurus is grounded. And so when it comes to our daily actions and the way we want to advance forward and take the initiative on things, we've had to really go the more grounded, practical route. And so with this moon being in Virgo here, this is allowing us to, it's giving us focus and an energetic assertiveness here to get done what it is that we need to get done. So, and then, like I said, we'll have Venus trine Neptune, and then we're also going to be having this moon shortly after it's trine to Mars in Taurus. It's going to be trining Uranus in Taurus. And so the harmonious aspect here with this trine to Uranus is expect the unexpected. It's kind of hard when it comes to Uranus because you can't really put an emphasis on what to expect because it's unexpected. But you can expect a greater emotional sense of transformation when it comes to the things that you're doing in your life at this time. Because I just talked about, the sextile to Uranus and Taurus when the moon was in Cancer. But the trine here is bringing a more natural, harmonious. Sextiles offer opportunities, right? And the trines are just more of the natural energies that are just embodied at the time. So you can expect, I feel like all in all, this is a good day. It's a good day to get back on track, innovate, change things, be open to change. It's giving us a willingness to be open to change, to be able to transform things, right, and do things different, take things to a higher place here emotionally with this moon in Virgo. But shortly after that, we're going to be having the moon in Virgo make its opposition to Neptune in Pisces. And it's kind of similar to when I was just talking about with the moon being opposite Saturn in Pisces. Saturn is more restrictive. Neptune, you can say, is expansive, I guess you can say. But it can feel messy with the moon opposed Neptune. It's very similar in the way in which you kind of have to surrender and go with the flow and improvise and adapt and overcome, because it could bring an energy of confusion. It's like you had your ideal way in which you wanted to go about things and do things. However, it's almost in a way Neptune is opposing it. It's confronting it and being like, okay, there's something to be more aware of here. And that opposition is offering you an opportunity, if you want to say. It's confronting you to be like, okay, well, what is it that I need to... I would say really it's about releasing the expectation of perfection, right? And going with the flow. It's like, yes, do what it is that you need to do, moon in Virgo, but that opposition to Neptune is like, if things come up or if you feel confused, go with the flow. It's like, you don't have to have everything kind of dialed in right now. Even if you have it all dialed in, it's going to be maybe feel confusing or feel like messy or feel disorienting. And so that opposition is offering you an opportunity just to reorient your energy here if you're feeling confused, right? It's like getting back into that flow state, but there's a little bit of a challenge to get back into it. And also you can say too, when the moon is opposed Neptune, it does bring this energy of idealism to where it can actually increase our vision, but we have to make sure that they're rooted in reality. We have to make sure that what we're ideally seeing and what we're ideally trying to create is rooted in reality. And that's where, that moon in Virgo can struggle, because it's like, okay, well, this is what I'm used to in my reality, but at this time it's like something else is taking shape, taking form, and I need to understand it. And then we're going to have the moon sextile Venus. The moon will sextile Venus. The moon will come into Libra, and it's going to make its sextile to Venus that's now entered into Leo. Venus in Cancer is all about putting the emphasis and the value when it comes to our personal life, our home life, when it comes to how well rooted we feel, when it comes to our own emotional world, our own inner world, our own comfort. Now with Venus being in Leo, deals with the creative expression, being your own confident authority. And so the emphasis and the value, and also you can say Leo too, is about happiness. It's putting a value on what really makes us happy, what makes us feel like we're being us, what makes us feel like we're being, what makes us feel creative and expansive and confident and expressive. Venus coming to Leo too, relationships could you can expect some more spice and fire in the relationships, because we're having more fire energy now in the astrology. 2 planets here, Venus and Mercury. So we finally got some fire here going here for us to really give us that oomph, give us that energy, instead of all that water kind of feeling maybe drowsy or lazy or stale or sluggish. But that moon in Libra, Libra is a sign that deals with relationships. It's going to be, like I said, sextiling Venus. Venus is a planet that deals with relationships. And so this is good. I would say with relationships, this is a good day, right? To connect, to make plans, to have fun, to enjoy your relationships, right? And it doesn't have to be with a person. It could be with anything, right? Although with this energy, it does bring relationships, but it can be with your work. It can be with your dog. It can be with, your home or whatever. Because Venus it deals with beauty and it wants to create. All right, here. And then we're going to be having the moon trine Pluto. So I actually want to speed this up. I want to shift this forward here a little bit to where this moon is in Libra. Go over here. Boom, boom, boom. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right, so now that moon is here in Libra. I just progressed it. So we have the moon in Libra at 1 degree, and it's going to be making its trine here to Pluto in Aquarius. So this will give us, Pluto's a planet of transformation, right? It's where we can also too, I would say it will give us a deeper, especially because this moon is still making its its sextile to Venus and Leo. It's given us a more deep and transformational emotional experience. And I would definitely, a lot of you may know your chart, but if you don't know your chart, look up your chart and see like where this energy is playing out, because this is where you're going to be, seeing in your life where it's playing out, like what area of your life, depending on what house this is in for you. But this will bring a deeper sense of emotional connection, right? A greater depth and transformation. And moon being a Libra, your relationships to things. And, Aquarius does deal with people. It deals with groups. It deals with, social groups. You can say just people in general. So this is a day to really connect here to relationships and really deepen and go deeper into these relationships. And it's a day to where you can also transform anything that needs to be transformed to understand more deeper and go into the depth of things. All right, July 12th here. Let's go to the next day. I guess I can just leave it there, huh? All right, this is the day where we have Venus oppose Pluto. All right, that's the highlight of the day, Venus oppose Pluto. Now, like I said, this is going to be bringing an intense energy and experience when it comes to relationship and finances. Pluto is a planet that deals with power, and when you have an opposition with Venus dealing with relationships, you want to make sure that you're not getting caught up in power games or power struggles. You could experience power struggles, right? Because that Venus and Leo likes what it likes, right? You like what it is that you like, the things that make you happy, right? The things that make you feel expansive. The things that make you feel confident, make you feel like you're in your true authentic expression. But that opposition to Pluto, like Pluto is confronting it, because Pluto deals with the collective, and Leo deals more so with the individual sense of self and self-expression, right? And the things that make them happy and your own happiness. And Pluto deals with the collective, so it does with people. And so you may even face confrontation or opposition energy when it comes to other people, when it comes to groups, when it comes to community. Really what's trying to go on is like everybody is trying to come together, and everybody's trying to come together, but the values could be at odds. And so this is because of opposition is either pulling apart or pulling together. And so the pulling apart is what you want to avoid unless you need to, right? Because Pluto being in Aquarius is like, it's in retrograde too, but Aquarius rules like the connective energy to people, to situations, to places, to things, to everything. but also Aquarius knows how to disconnect when it needs to disconnect. And so this is a day to where you have to really work out those kinks and be like, okay, what are the values here that I need to disconnect from that are no longer serving me? And what are the values that I need to connect more to that are making me happy and making me feel like I'm in my power, I'm in my confidence, I'm in my authority, right? And you don't want to be arrogant about it. You know, you just have to really understand what those things are, right? Because you don't want to compensate on it, right? If something's not true for you, it's not true for you. So that opposition is just to be aware of that challenge, and to not get caught up in power games, power struggles. Just really trying to work together, right? And understand. All right. Now this moon in Libra is going to conjunct the South Node in Libra, and it's going to oppose the North Node in Aries. Now Aries is all about, or the North Node in Aries is all about where we're trying to go for ourselves, going on our own journeys, right, to advance on our journey. The North Node is about where we're trying to go, right, our destiny. The South Node is the past, right? So that South Node here, with the moon conjuncting it, you know, I always look at the South Node sometimes as like a drain, right? The South Node is a release, trying to let go of the waste that no longer serves us. And so with it being here in Libra, it's the relationship that you have to things. What are those dynamics? Because whatever those dynamics are, there's going to be dynamics in which there's an imbalance. It's like this is balancing the scales, right? Because Libra deals with the scales. This is bringing things back into harmony, bringing things back into balance, bringing things back into peace. But it's also too to where we can't just be that person that just wants to keep the peace, right? The North Node Aries is about assertiveness, right? Because sometimes we can give ourselves too many excuses with the South Node being in Libra. North Node's like, okay, and Aries is like, no more excuses. I'm defining this for myself and I'm taking the lead. So there is an energy here to where we're having to work out, you know, where we can create more balance in our life. This isn't totally about, you know, letting go of relationships or letting go of a relationship to a certain type of thing. It's about just understanding, okay, what are the fluxes here and what are the imbalances here, right? That I need to adjust so that way I can bring things back into harmony. Because that way I can bring things back into balance. But shortly after that, we have the moon trine Jupiter, right? It's pretty much at the same time this moon is also going to be making its trine to Jupiter. So there is a positive energy with this. It's like things kind of, you getting a deeper sense of understanding, Jupiter and Gemini, about the facts, right? About understanding here the things that, okay, well, this is a positive energy. Okay, well, we can let go of this, right? Or we can make an improvement here, right? It's a win. There's a win-win here. You know, if the moon, sorry, if Jupiter's going to be, if the moon's going to be trining Jupiter, right? You have to remember that Jupiter is also sextile the North Node, and it's also making a trine to the South Node. And so we're still advancing our destinies here. There's opportunities opening up. We're understanding better. We're having better conversations. We're communication's better. Opportunities are coming in. And so this is just a natural energy of like, okay, it's just time to release what needs to be released, and things are naturally are rebalancing themselves harmoniously. So I think Jupiter is really going to bring a benefic energy to this. All right, July 13th. Alrighty here. Well, there's no big highlights this day. We just have, you know, moon transits. So the first one we're having is moon sextile Mercury. So that moon in Libra, sextile Mercury in Leo. It's a good day for conversations, for communicating, for coming up with ideas, for expressing ourselves. when it comes to our relationships, when it comes to our friendships, when it comes to our work, when it comes to our projects. It's the rational mind. It's our mind and our emotions on the same page. Being able to articulate things easily and being able to understand, okay, what do I want to do to, what am I feeling and what do I want to go into? Okay, I'm feeling this way. And it's just a natural energy here to where we can have better conversations, or we can understand things better with Mercury, or come up with newer ideas, or be confident in our ideas, be confident in our speech, be confident in our expression. Later on, we're going to be having the moon square the sun, right? So we're going to have the moon square the sun. And I just said this a moment ago. It's like when the moon squares the sun, it can bring a disharmony when it comes to the conscious will and when it comes to our emotions, right? Because this moon in Libra is wanting to keep things in balance, keep things, in harmony, right? And be in a peaceful energy, be in a peaceful vibe. But emotionally, we're going to be feeling, okay, something is disrupting the vibe, right? And the disruption to the vibe is also going to be that square to the sun in Cancer. So it's like, I would say here that we want to have that, but we're looking for comfort. We're looking for that sense of security. We're looking for that sense of support. And so this could bring an energy here, Cancer squaring the Libra energy of maybe feeling a lack of emotional support when it comes to relationships, or feeling a disharmony with those things. And every time I see the moon square the sun, I always say to myself, like, this too shall pass. Because like I said, moon transits don't last very long, but this is giving you an opportunity here just to become consciously aware of, okay, like, what do I need, right? The sun in Cancer, what do I need to feel emotionally supported, rooted, grounded, and comfortable, right, in my relationships or my relationships with something. Later on, this moon in Libra is going to oppose Chiron in Aries. Like, Chiron is the wounded healer. And so this can bring up energies of having to confront where we're possibly not taking the lead more. Because here's the thing, relationships, your relationship to anything in life, Libra, the quality of that depends on the relationship you have with yourself. And that's Aries. So that Chiron being here in Aries and the opposition here, it's like trying to show us where is it within inside myself that maybe I'm not taking the lead more, or maybe I need to define more, or things that I need to heal within inside myself. So that way the scales, right? Think about a scale, there's two, right? Aries would be one of them. It's like two of them. Two of them make Libra, balance. It's like two things that are operating in harmony and balance. And so there's, like I said, this Chiron can bring up wounds, it can bring up insecurities, it can bring up inadequacies. But really, these are just things that we just have to go within and be like, okay, well, what is it that I need to accept, look at within inside myself, and what do I need to do to heal these things? So that way I can feel more sure of myself. That way I can feel more confident, more assertive, right? That way I can feel like I have a more complete awareness of my sense of self. And so this can bring frustration because Aries, it's a fire sign. We all know that Aries, is an archetype that deals with anger, that deals with, I would say, I think anger explains it the best. And so you don't want to get angry, right? You just want to, whatever's making you angry is a trigger. And this is your time to get aware about what that trigger is, so that way it doesn't disrupt things. All right, last day here, July 14th. We're gonna have the moon square Pluto, and then we're gonna be having the moon square Venus. And I'm going to progress this a little bit more so that way you guys can see, because this moon's gonna leave Libra and it's gonna come into Scorpio. So let's go back here. We'll put it right there. So here we go. The moon has now come into Scorpio. and it's going to square Pluto. All right, this is a transit to really pay attention to, because this is where our temper, where energies can get out of control. Scorpio is a sign that is defiant, it's very passionate. And Pluto is a planet that also deals with defiance, passion, power, intensity. And you have to think about it, the ruling planet of Scorpio is Pluto. So I would definitely be aware of your temper and other people's temper, right? Because this can bring a very strong, intense emotional reaction. It can be from another person. It could be from yourself. Because that moon in Scorpio, it's like, it's Scorpio, other ruling planet is Mars. And so Mars deals with the sense of self and defining things for ourselves and taking action, how we want to take action and how we want to do things. And there's that defiant energy with it being in Scorpio. And so it brings a sense of desire, strong desire to do things the way we want to do it. But that square to Pluto, there's tension, right? Aquarius rules people, so I'll definitely be aware of like people, groups around this time, because it's going to clash. It's going to bring a clash. And this is also where you can get caught up in power games, power struggles. Anybody at this time that is just not acting rationally, is trying to prove themselves, or is trying to assert dominance, or trying to gain power, I would disconnect. And even by you disconnecting, you may piss them off, right? Because once, the moon in Scorpio is latched onto something emotionally, it's very hard to latch off of it. So, and that also, you have to be aware of that with inside yourself. Right, so if tension is brewing at this time, it's good to take a step back, right, and let it pass here. So I would be aware of that. This is where where we're trying to connect to what it is that we're desiring, what it is that we want, moon in Scorpio. But that square to Pluto, is it connecting? If it's not connecting, don't get mad. Right? Just be like, okay, I'll connect to something else. Right? So I'd be aware of that. And this is also the time too where you can become emotionally aware of like, okay, I need to disconnect from this because this is pissing me off. Right? And instead of my temper going out of control, or instead of things getting out of control, or making a situation work, let me disconnect from it. But it's also going to be showing you too, like what you actually want to connect to. So, and there's that desire, but you can desire all day long. It's like, it's about going about creating it. And so this is where envy, jealousy, resentment, and all that energy can come up. But if you're consciously aware, like, okay, this is envy, this is jealousy, like, where is it within inside myself where is this coming from, and what can I do about it, right? How can I actually connect to my desires that I want? And whatever isn't connecting, it's not connecting, it's not going to connect. So it's just about letting it go. So that's how we end the week. Next week, Mars is going to be coming in to its conjunction with Uranus. So that's going to be a big deal. It's sudden changes, certain actions happening. You may even see this really play out on the world scale. Unexpected things happening on July 15th. I'll put that prediction out there. And also that sun's going to be squaring Chiron on the 15th. There's a lot going on next week that we'll talk about. I don't have the transits pulled up right now for that week. But tune in for next week, because even next week is going to be a big week. We enter into that the first quarter moon. So things are building up here. And we're about to get the full conscious illumination with this full moon that we're having in Capricorn at 29 degrees. All right. So that's what I got for this week. I appreciate all of you for watching. If you're new to the channel, I encourage you to subscribe. Also hit the notification button bell as well. If you like the video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button for me. Any comments, of course, or any feedback would be highly appreciated. You can just put that down below. And otherwise than that, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. I'm wishing you all the best for the week, and I'll talk to you in the next video.